it's the sort of things that you don't think about. You know, if somebody dies suddenly, it's awful, but it's done. And people have suddenly got to get on with things. But when you know you're gonna die, there's things you feel you've got to do, like stupid little things, like I bought keepsakes for everybody. You know, just little mementos to remember me. And everyone would say, you've got plenty of time for that. And I hadn't, you know, in a panic, I wanted to get this done. So they're all done, they're all wrapped. So my grandson's 18th in September. So I've got his present, I've got his card. I should probably, I'm like I am now, be fine, but I won't needed it sorting.
Can you tell me what you've been diagnosed with?
I've been diagnosed with terminal pancreatic cancer. We're just waiting now for biopsy results to see what form of cancer it is, and then on to oncology to see if there is any treatment they can offer that would help prolong my life, or whether it's going to be too invasive given the short time I've got, whether I accept the chemotherapy. So that's the next big decision.
What was it like getting the diagnosis?
I wouldn't say it was a shock, because I think you know your own body, don't you? And I knew there was something seriously wrong. And when they said that it had possibly spread to the liver, I thought, well, that's, you know, that's not good. But my husband, ever the optimist, said, oh, well, it'll be fine, we'd get something done about it and all the rest of it. So I think it was more of a shock to him than it was to me. So I just asked outright, how long have I got? And they said, well, I'm not, nobody wants to give you a date or a time. I suppose it is difficult because everybody is different, but it does help if you've got a time scale to work by. So he was saying months rather than years. The doctor was suggesting possibly the latter end of months. So I think once I've, you know, got a date, or I feel I'm deteriorating more quickly, then I think that's probably when things will hit the panic button then. But no, I was accepting, I suppose, is the word. Still am, really. But just trying to get on with it and support the rest of the family as best I can, really.
How did you tell the kids?
I can't remember, it's a blur. I think individually, because they knew I'd got the consultation. So I just more or less said, oh, you know, I'm sorry, but it's not good news. But when I told them it was terminal and it might only be months, then that was hard. It was hard for them. And hard for him as well. We've been together 50 years, it's a long time. But they're getting there.
You say it's really, you know, exhausting. Do you find that you're having to prop them up more than perhaps be supported?
Yes. Because although they say, oh, you know, if you don't feel like doing this, Mum, you feel you have to do this. weekends and things, they'll say, oh, we'll come and do this for you, we'll come and do that for you, which I'm very grateful for. But sometimes you just need a bit of space. Sort of think about things, and especially now with the diabetes, I can't drive like I normally could. I can't just jump in the car. That was my space by going up in my car. If it was only to the supermarket, it just gave me time to think. This was long before I was diagnosed with cancer. That was just my little space. So of course now I'm chauffeur driven everywhere, and I'm trying to think, and it's not my space. But the hardest part, to be honest, was telling my dad. He's over in Yorkshire. He doesn't deal with death well. He's lost a lot of his friends. It's just as well he's in Yorkshire, really, because he was absolutely in bits, you know, and that's, tried to tell him that's not helping Dad, you know, want you to look after yourself and be all right without me having to be here worrying about you. So he doesn't know what to do or say, you know. He's always had a good relationship, but and I don't know what to say. You know, I can't make it better, can I? Can't make it go away.
Forgetting all the niceties and forgetting you worrying about everybody else, what is it you would like now?
For it all to be over very quickly, without the pain, without the indignity of what's to come. Yeah, if I could go tomorrow, that is what I'd want, but that's not what I'm going to get. Like I say, if you go suddenly, you've not got time to think about. It doesn't matter to you, you're out of the picture. But when you do know you've got a limited time, there's so much you have to sort out, whether it be legal documents, financial, letters to write.
It sounds like this dying malarkey's hard work.
It is hard work. It is very hard work. I'm a great believer in when your number's up, your number's up. So all you can do is make the most of the time you've got and look after your family and make sure they're okay. I'm even thinking about where I'm going to rehome my chickens, because Paul won't look after my chickens. And as for my giant fish, you might be having my giant fish. You'll forget to feed them. So it might seem like trivial, stupid little things to people, but little things that matter to you matter even more. When you know you're not going to be around there to sort it out.
I can imagine that you're just sitting there sometimes thinking, oh, so this needs sorting and this will need sorting and this, it must be just relentless. But everything you've talked about is, I know I've asked you what you would want, but everything you've talked about is helping other people deal with what you're going through.
I think it's just something that you do, because it is harder for them, because I'm going to be gone. And they're going to be left with the grief or mum, the fact that mum or wife's not going to be there to say, oh, it's where the soap powder is and how you put the washing machine on, and silly little things like that. In a way, me supporting other people, I'm supporting myself in a way. I don't know whether it's a shield or a wall or barrier I'm putting up. But if I haven't got to think about myself, it's probably taking a bit of the pressure off, I think.
When you're sent, you know, letters from the hospital or wherever, or when they talk to you, You were saying about how they talk in, medical language.
Yeah.
And how it's important, it would be easier if they actually remembered that you're not a doctor.
A doctor. It is jargon to people, and I think if they could sort of make it simpler, even if it's just getting a piece of paper and scribbling, well, this is what that looks like, and we can't do this because it's hidden behind here, or we can't access it, or this, that and the other. It would make it a lot simpler, but it is a bit of a minefield, especially when they don't explain how you're going to die. Nobody seems to want to cover that subject. It would be nice if they could be a bit more forthright. I mean, some people can't handle that, but for me, I'm an organised person, and I like to put things in boxes, and I like to know what's happening. Palliative care have phoned me just to let me know I'm on their books, but they can't come and see me and have a chat because they're so thin on the ground. They're just dealing with emergencies only. So if I got any real concerns, or I just want somebody to talk to who knows what they're talking about, I'm not really classed as an emergency until I'm on that deathbed. Which is sad, because there must be thousands of people who need that one-to-one conversation just to know that there is somebody out there. At the moment, I've got no one person to go to. The palliative care people say, well, I'm not an emergency, it's now just your doctor. Your doctor says, well, now you're seeing so many medical people, you don't need to see me. Then they say, oh, it could be a district nurse. Well, I'm not registered with a district nurse as yet. So at the moment, I feel as if I'm scrabbling round.
Do you think that now that you've got this diagnosis and the people that know, do you think that they see the cancer first and then you?
Probably a little bit. And my closest friend, the closest neighbour, she's upset because she doesn't know what to do, because there's nothing she can do. And I said, just carry on being you, just carry on being my friend. And that's how it is with us, we don't mention it, it's sometimes physically you can't help it not define you, because you might have a limp or your brain's scrambled. But people's attitudes do, if people don't know you very well, and they know that you've got a diagnosis of cancer, then they do tend to sort of, they don't know what to say, or they look away. But yes, I think once you get talking to people, then they think, oh no, it's still Sue, they look past it.
So how do you want to be remembered?
That's a hard one. Somebody who was kind, I think. Considerate. But I think rather than be remembered, I'd rather not be forgotten, if you know what I mean. I'm not a religious person at all, but I do slightly believe in reincarnation. And my daughter, when I said that, said, oh good, she said, I'm going to take every waif and straith that comes in, and it'll be you. I said, no, I'll turn up unexpected when it's meant to be me. No, I'm not bothered about being remembered. I just like, somebody to be at the back of somebody's mind, in a nice way.
So what do you want to be?
I don't think I'd like to come back as a bird. We've had plenty of birds in this family. Probably a dog. We like our dogs. We'd lost our doggy, our little doggy, not long ago. So we've always had dogs. Oh, I don't know. Something that'll be a nuisance, I think, yeah. Unlike me.
If I was to say to you, what would you tell a medical student, or any sort of medical thing, what should they know about how to deal with telling people about a diagnosis that's difficult?
Just remember it's a person you're dealing with, that to be given a diagnosis is a big shock. Don't assume that they know what's wrong with them and what's going to happen to them. Take your time, explain as simply and as directly as you can, but basically time and patience. And if you can offer them more time, even better, for it to sink in and give them the opportunity to have some quiet time, all the better. But yes, basically just remember it's not a textbook you're dealing with, it's a person.